Well, before I begin, don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe to this video. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe this channel because when I make for you guys to enjoy, comment, share, all that good stuff to make the video and channel grow into a decent, respectable channel. And to the ones who have not shared this video or shared any of my videos or have commented or have subscribed to this channel, please do so at your earliest convenience. Cause without your help, none of this wouldn't be possible. For the great videos and content I make for you guys regarding sports, comic books, politics, religion, whatever, it's on this channel for your enjoying the beginnings and endings pleasure. Alright, let's begin. First of all, I'm gonna show this right here right quick. We all know today is Black Friday, right? And normally I wear my AJ Brown jersey, but for some odd reason AJ Brown this season has kind of lost my respect because of what he has been saying and doing in the media. Um and it's killing to me for a guy who making over 30 million a year, one of the top 5 highest paid receivers in the game, to be making all the accusations about certain things and going inside the locker room. He has not pointed any fingers, thank God for that, but he letting it be known that there are issues between him and some players in the locker room, and the media has ran away with that. And now it ain't just the Eagles media. You got ESPN, Fox, FS1. You got Sunday night games. I mean, all these commentators, ESPN, all of them are talking about the Eagles and what's going on between AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. And AJ Brown has not put it to rest. Hurts is trying to leave it alone by not saying much. That's why he said. That's why he don't say much as it is. Because when people have issues with him, I think he found he got different ways of solving issues, and you know what he does. He don't speak out on it. He just say on to the next game, which I understand because that's what it's supposed to be. But you don't let social media and people that not have anything to do with the Philadelphia Eagles to get you out of character. And I feel AJ Brown has let the media get him out of character, and that is what the issues I had with it. That's why I'm not wearing number 11. Matter of fact, I have not worn number 11 none this year. Because the fact is, he has kind of, I'm not going to say he didn't lose my respect, but I'm just going to stay my distance from A.J. Brown for this year alone. So, that's why I got that jersey I just showed you guys. That's what I'm going to wear on it for today's blackout game against the Chicago Bears, a game that we have to win. Both teams are 8-5. And the deal with the video is really mostly about, this is actually a key to victory game. So let's jump into the key to victory for the Philadelphia Eagles and against the Chicago Bears. Now, it's been told that Chicago Bears have a top 5 ranked offense, a top 10 ranked defense, because they lead the league in turnovers. They lead the league also. They like third or fourth in sacks. This Chicago front is very good. They're very good at getting pressure on the quarterback, and like I got to listen to what's his name I forgot that podcast, but it starred Fazzarella, has D-Gun on it, and it also has what's his name on Seth Joyner on it. Anyway, those guys were talking about the Chicago Bears and how high ranked their defense offense is, which is pretty up there. Like I said, top 5 ranked offense, top 10 ranked defense. They lead league in turnovers. And then at the mention, they got they got C.J. Gardner-Johnson, the guy the Eagles had not once but twice on their roster. And during those times, I think he spent 3 years with the Philadelphia Eagles. 2 years, his first year before he went to the Super Bowl, and then brought him back for the Super Bowl winning year, which was last year. And then they trade him off, and all the Eagle fans feel the same way like I feel. He should not have left the Eagles. He should never have been traded. Should never been traded. You know what I'm saying? But Howard Roseman, it being Howard Roseman, he did trade away players for younger players, which is understandable. But sometimes when players are not ready to play, you keep the veterans there to mature the players that you drafted where they can learn under them. So Eagles have an issue with that, and that's one of the reasons why their defense is playing the way they're playing, because you're putting young, inexperienced players in the line of fire where they are making crucial mistakes on this defensive line. And when you on this defense, and when you make crucial mistakes, those mistakes can lead to turnovers, and they can lead to losses, and it can lead to big games by the opposing offense. Makuba, for example, Makuba was doing pretty good in his in his rookie year in the preseason. He did really well in the preseason game. Then they put him in some of the regular season games, and he wound up being put to the side for a little bit. And then they put then they got the other boy. I forgot who his name was, but he was safety for a while. And then all of a sudden now you brought Makuba back into the lineup only to get hurt, with the last three games against the Dallas Cowboys. So this is what I guess this is what the price pays. But sometimes you should have the decency and not to keep your veterans on the team. Now you signed CJ Gardner to a 3-year, $40 million contract. I think he'll get like $11 million per year. They should have kept that. They should have kept TJ Gardner-Johnson. Now he's on the opposing team, the Chicago Bears. Now he's gonna play. He's gonna play with a chip on his shoulder. I mean, TJ Gardner-Johnson has always had a chip on his shoulder. Always had that chip. Now the chip is even bigger. It's a big chip on the shoulder now because of what the Eagles did to him, not once but second time in the year. The first year they let him go via free agency, but this year they traded him. So that is the issue that I have with the Philadelphia Eagles front office, because they don't seem to calculate when it comes to keeping veterans on the team. You got to have veterans on the team. I put it this way: when you let one veteran go, it pays to bring another veteran in to help to the young players. And Howard Roseman has not done that. He hasn't did it, and I don't understand why. And you're thinking bringing back BG is gonna solve that issue? No, it's not. Because BG plays on the first line of the defense. He's not a linebacker. He's not a safety or a corner. Should have kept CJ. CJ could have been a starting safety, and he could have tutored Makuba to be a better safety in the league. But instead, you trade him off for I think a couple of draft picks. I think that's what it was. On to use those draft picks for more draft picks in the following year or the year after. That's what Howard Roseman has done. And now on the offense, like I said early in the year, or not early in the year, but probably not early in the year, but I said probably around the 56th game of the year, the Eagles have been putting in patchwork players on the offensive line of the football. You got Jordan Mailata, who mans the left side. He has not been playing. He has not played well at all this year. Not at all. Has not played well. Then you got Leonard Dickinson, who's been in and out the lineup based on the injury he had on his knee. He had his knee scoped, and he been out for a couple of games during the bye week, and then came back and still was playing hurt. But now he's playing a little bit better than when he played the beginning of the year. So he may be the only consistent player that's playing decent on that line. Then you had the center position, which was manned by two different players, which was Cam Jurgens, who's the starting center. Then they had this other guy, Brent Tote, I think that's his name. He was the center, and he started playing a little bit better early in the mid part of the season. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the right guard, who have been a patchwork offensive guard, and they've been a patchwork right tackle. Lane Johnson been in and out of the lineup this year. You know what I'm saying? Tyler Steen was supposed to be the starting right guard, but he can't hold the right guard position because he been in and out. And they've been putting in guys in his place. So, I'm going to say this. The guard that the Eagles drafted, I think the same year they won the Super Bowl, they actually let that guy go. He's from the University of Michigan. They let him go. And the Cowboys picked him up. Man, boy, I tell you the doggone truth. It is so much stuff that don't happen between week 1 and week what we are now, week 8, 9, 10, 11. We are now in week 12, And so much has happened on this offensive side of football. Now, the reason why the defense have been able to get pressure because the Eagles let a couple of free agents guy, which was Josh Sweat, who's now over in Arizona playing a pretty good career, having a good career in Arizona, and then you let Milton Williams go, the defensive tackle, over to well, he probably went to Carolina, but Carolina didn't have a nice high contract, but he went to New England. He's playing pretty well in New England. You know what I'm saying? So you had to depend on Jordan Davis, who was doing well a little bit for a while, and he seems to be coming on back strong again. And then you had Jalen Carter, who had been out of shape since week 1 when he got caught spitting on what's his name? Dallas Cowboys quarterback. I'm just gonna say that. He been out of shape ever since after the bye week, and when he got back into shape, now he playing pretty good ball. So the Eagles was lacking a right side pass rusher or edge, if you will. So the Eagles went and got Jaden Phillips from the University of Miami via Miami Dolphins via trade, and he has been doing magnificent in 2 games, but he haven't done pretty well in the Chicago in this Dallas Cowboy game because I haven't heard anything about Jaden Phillips in the Cowboy game. So I'm assuming the Cowboys did a pretty good job maintaining him. And the Eagles backside of the defense was doing pretty well, but your corners ain't been doing pretty well because when your defensive front can't get pressure because your corners cannot hold people down, it makes it difficult for the defense to get to the quarterback or get to the run game. So it's keys and puzzles that had to be fulfilled for it to be a complete game. And the Eagles are still missing some puzzles on the offensive side of football. That's where they're hurting at because teams are being able to rush up the middle and to get in Hurts' face, to rush Hurts left or right. And if he goes left or right, he has never learned to throw the football away. He maintains trying to make a play. But when you make a play, it can cause you yards. And I've seen him lost 10 to 15 yards on sacks this season. And when you lack yards like that, you make second and third manageable games difficult for the offensive line to protect you because when you're that long, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 20, something like that, you make it difficult for your offense to complete balls either downfield or make it difficult to run the football. So you go 3 and out, and then you go back to the sideline. You put your defense back on the field after they instructed the opposing offense off the second or third time. They get tired. The defenses get tired because offenses can't maintain drives. You got to maintain drive to get the defense the rest that they need on the side of the field. You got to give defense rest. You got to. And special teams have been trash, or should I say up and down, this entire season. The only special teams that I can remember that the Eagles have done were those 2 blocked field goals against the LA Rams in Philadelphia. Those are the only special team things that I can think of that were spectacular this season. And since then, the Eagles have not been able to block any. I haven't heard any more block kicks this season because you know why? Teams have found ways to neutralize Carter and Davis so they can't bust right through to get to the football. Teams has maneuvered towards them too when it comes to 4th down where the teams have to kick the football off. They have found ways to do it. And I've seen what they have done was instead of putting 5 guys to block, they put in an extra tight end on the left and an extra tight end on the right. So the 2 offensive linemen can hold them in place so they can't rush to get upfield on the kick of the block football. That's what teams have been doing all season. If you pay attention to that, you'll see it. I've watched it too many times. You have 5 down linemen, and you got an offensive. Then you got two tight ends, or 2 wide receiver tight end, or running back or fullback to make the initial blocks off the edges where the offensive lineman can hold the defensive tackles in bay. That's what they've been doing all year. So that's why you haven't heard anything about Jalen Carter or Jordan Davis blocking kicks. Even though they lead the league in 2 blocked field goals, I don't think no team this year have had 2 blocked field goals this year. The Eagles own the league so far in that. But overall, I have heard any more special team plays on this route this year other than those 2. Now I've heard some mess ups where they had Tank Bisbee on kick returns and the board on who they released from the New York Giants roster. You know what I'm saying? They put those 2 guys, and Bisbee still on the team. Bisbee more of a runner than he is. He's more of a runner than a special teams ace. This guy who they got from the New York Giants, who had them 2 bad kicks in last week game against the Cowboys, have basically cost the team. See, when you cough up the ball like that, you give your offense, you give your defense a minimum of short field to protect the ball to force their team to kick. Because 9 times out of 10, a quarterback knows where to put the ball at in placement for the touchdown score. So, I mean, it is so many things to look at. So I try to make sure that I get a good focus and watch the game myself and see what's going on, or watch the R22 that I see on YouTube a lot. But this is what I've been seeing all season long. Ever since the Rams game, teams have found ways to block Jordan Davis and Carter from rushing up the middle. That's why you don't hardly hear them blocking kicks anymore, because teams have found ways to adjust to those 2 when they have blocked the field goals. Teams have adjusted to that. And so that's why you don't hear them on special teams play against those guys anymore, because they have adjusted. And that's why, and this issue that I had with the Eagles. The Eagles do not know how to adjust offensively, because if they did, they wouldn't have lost the game against the Cowboys. Because the Cowboy game should have been a 1 game. That game, it was 21-0 going into halftime. How you allowed the Cowboys to come back? You know what I'm saying? With 4, when I looked at it with 14-21, I'm like, wow, they came back 14, and this was third quarter. It was the third quarter. They had 14 points in the third quarter. You know what I'm saying? And then they didn't score at all in the fourth quarter, but they let the Cowboys score another touchdown, made 21-21. Then they kicked the field goal in the last minutes of the fourth quarter, 24-21. So again, it's and the Cowboy defense ranked 20-something against the run and pass. They should have ran the ball on that offense, on that defensive line. If they had ran the ball, it would have been a different outcome in this game against the Cowboys. It would have been a different outcome. But sometimes you play to the place that you got, and we can't say Portillo is to blame, even though he had been shoveled the blame. You can't say Hurts, because Hurts is only being played on the plan based on the call given by the offensive coordinator. So you can't say Hurts is to blame. And you can't say anything about A.J. Brown, because A.J. Brown has the right to rant, because he knows that he gets open. And those 5 route hitches that he runs, when he runs 5 yards and then he comes inside, defenses adjust to that. You either got a cornerback in front of you or cornerback behind you. They're going to make the play on the ball, either keep you from getting it or going to somehow get an interception or bat the ball down. So the play calling is trash at best, because it reminds us of the 2003 season when the Eagles gave Brian Johnson the OC position, and at OC position, even though the Eagles wound up being 10-7 that season, which was one of the most horrible seasons in franchise history, after making the Super Bowl with the opportunity to get back there, only to flounder when you had Shane Steichen, who left, became a head coach, and then you had the defensive coordinator, I forgot his name. He was there on the Cardinals. So the Eagles had some players leave, had some coaches leave their franchise because of those two. You know what I'm saying? So, by the benefit of a doubt, it reverted back to the same style high school offense where wide receivers are running 5 hitch routes. A.J. Brown is known for his deep running. He's a physical, deep running wide receiver. If he runs up and cuts back out and cuts back in, that means he had bypassed the cornerback only for the ball to come back his direction where he can make a play on the ball. He's known for long plays like that. Smitty, on the other hand, can catch any ball. He can catch the ball on the 5-hitch route and make and go upfield to get the first down. So you can put Smitty anywhere. AJ Brown is a different story. He like running in out routes going left and right, or he like the 10-yard out routes coming in where he can make a break of the ball and run. AJ Brown is a different receiver. You got 2 number 1 receivers playing on this team. 2 alpha males on this team. And they're friends. But you can't blame the play calling on Hurts. You can't, because he do not make the plays on them. He do not call the plays. He makes the play based on what's called on the corner, called by the offensive coordinator. That's the issue that I had with this entire offensive team. But overall, it's simple. Run the football. That's the other thing too. The Eagles have been able to run the football none this year. Saquon Barkley has had 2 100-yard games rushing this year. He had one against the New York Giants. He had one against who is it that we played? He had one against New York Giants, and he had one against another team. I forgot what it was. He had 200-yard rushing games this year. Overall, I think he had like 600-700-yard rushing this year so far. He's on pace for 1,000 on a simple 1,000 yards, which would be pretty good, but not up to his standards, because this offensive line has been mismatched at best and patchwork at best, to a point where they cannot open the hole for this man to run through. That's why he's dancing in the backfield so he can make a play to go left or right or up the middle. Now you got Tank Bigsby, who's a knock you on your ass type running back, where he can get the ball, he can get you 6, 7, 8 yards and carrying 2 or 3 players for a first down. He needs to get the ball more than what he has been these last several games that the Eagles have gotten him for a trade for. So I'm hoping in this game we see more of Tank Bigsby. That's what I'm hoping. You know what I'm saying? If he get this running game going, then you open up for the play action pass. But if you can't run the football, you can't play action. You're stuck in the mud back there doing 3, 4, 5 steps drop to complete the ball, because by the time you get to your 4th or 5th stop, you got a defensive lineman in your face. And once he's in your face, you're gonna do 2 things. You either gonna go down, take the sack, or you're gonna throw the ball away. And Hurts, knowing Hurts, he don't like throwing the ball away. He rather take a sack than throw the ball away. And then at the same time, he can't run because all the defensive linemen right there blocking all the run gaps. So he can't run. So like I said, he's stuck in the mud in the backfield. It's simple. It's simple terminology, in my opinion. So that's my key to the victory. I hope the Eagles find a way to get this run game going, because if they don't get the run game going, get the Chicago Bears front, we're going to have issues down the line. And this game to get the Chicago Bears is pretty much the last winnable team with a winning record this year. We get past Chicago. If we get past Chicago, then rest of the game down on the way should be good, but it won't be easy game, because the same way winning teams been playing the Eagles is the same way teams with above 500 or less on defense gonna be playing the same way, and they're gonna make it difficult to win any game going forward. So, with that being said, hope you guys enjoy this Keys to Victory. I had to rant and also tell a story. I tell a story, but rant, but also let you guys know what has been going on and what I've been seeing overall in this entire offensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles and the Eagles defense. Play calling is still trash at best. I'm hoping that Patullo can call a better game, because like I said, the Eagles lack motion on offense, and if you can't motion right, a wide receiver, team gonna know exactly what you're doing, and they're gonna know where the ball is going, and they'll know exactly where to go. And it's just that simple and plain, because this offense is so predictable and so readable to a point where you do not want to confuse the defense, but you prefer to put Hurts on the center, because on the center If where he, from what I've been told, he don't like being under center a lot. He prefers shotgun. But see, sometimes shotgun can hurt you. But one thing, when you're in shotgun, you can see the field more than being under center. That's why he like being in shotgun a lot. So, cause see, when you're in shot, when you are in center, when you're under center, you can pass the ball over to the running back, and the running back make the play with the football. I think that'd be the only way he need to be lining up on the center for it that way. But if he gonna pass, he need to be in shotgun. But wide receiver need to be making most while he's in shotgun, so you know exactly where the ball needs to go and who need to get the ball right away. That's simple. Like I say, that's simple terminology. That's how I see football. That's how I know football. If I don't know football, I wouldn't be talking about football to you guys at the time long minutes. I'm sorry, I ain't got no watch on, but long minutes of this video. I want to be 20 minutes, but not 25 minutes long. But anyway, I'm in the video on this note, man. I mean, something gotta change. Something gotta change. It's the Almighty Green Talents. I'm out here. You guys watch the game. Blackout, baby. Peace.